Welcome to today's version of Grow Your Yoga. Today I am doing yoga in the news. I have a couple of articles that I came across recently that is regarding yoga in the world news to cover a few topics and to see what you think about some of these stories. If you have any comments, drop them in the comment section below and throughout the presentation, I will respond and answer. My name is Todd McLaughlin. I'm here at Native Yoga Center in Juno Beach, Florida, and I'm so happy that you're here. The first story that I want to share with you is one called Police Rush to Reports of, quote, Ritual Mass Murder, end quote, but it was just a yoga class. This is on CBS News on September 8th of 2023. And so when I first heard about this one, it really I really didn't believe it at first. I had to check out the article, and so here on let's see, I'm going to have all the links for the articles in the description below, so you can check them out if you like. But police rushed to reports of ritual mass murder in a yoga class. When a yoga teacher turned on the lights toward the end of one of her classes in Britain this week, her hope was to encourage peaceful relaxation. What followed could not have been further from her intention. Soon after the class was over, a, quote, mass of police sirens, end quote, shattered the peace as officers raced toward the venue where the class was being held. They were responding to a call from a member of the public worried there had been a mass killing at the studio in the small English coastal resort of Chapel St. Leonard's. So Millie Laws, who runs Unity Yoga, was teaching the class at the North Sea Observatory in the village, which also doubles as a community space, art gallery, and exercise studio. You can see a picture here of people in Shavasana. Well, they're on their way to the observatory after someone had reported a mass killing in our building, having seen several people laying on the floor, which actually turned out to be the yoga class in meditation. Quote, dear general public, please be mindful that the observatory has lots of yoga classes happening in the evenings. We are not part of any mad cult or crazy clubs. The post continued. In a separate Facebook post on the Unity Yoga page, Law said that the call to the police was triggered after, quote, some local dog walkers mistook the scene for a ritual mass murder, end quote. And in a phone interview with CNN Friday, Law said that the 5 police cars showed up at the venue soon after she had the 7 other class participants had left. She was told about the episode in a phone call from the venue manager. She said, I was very shocked. It was so surreal, and I did not believe it was true. Quote, I have spoken to most of the people who took part, and they've just said how mad it is. Quote, they're all participating in a beautiful, deep relaxation, and it could have never run through any of our minds that it could be taken in this way. And then police confirmed the incident in a statement emailed to CNN Friday. And it read, a call was made following concerns for the occupants of the North Sea Observatory at Chapel St. Leonard's. Officers attended. We're happy to report everyone was safe and well. The call was made with good intentions. I would love to hear what you think about this. I thought this was so interesting. I mean, the fact that onlookers looking into the room, seeing people laying on the floor could equate as a mass murder says so much about maybe the lack of awareness of yoga or what yoga is. I guess I get so used to being in Shavasana every day and or seeing students in Shavasana, practitioners in Shavasana every day, that it kind of surprises me that this actually happened, to be honest. However, I guess if I was walking by a building and saw a bunch of people laying down on the floor inside of a space that could be what I would assume, it also speaks a little bit to the fact that perhaps there's a certain level of fear going on that this would be the case. I would love to hear what you have to say about this one. Did you hear about this story? If so, go ahead and post a comment here where you're viewing, and I'd love to hear what you have to think. All right. So the next one I'd like to share with you is, Yoga helps manage rheumatoid arthritis, says study. And this was in the Indian Explorer. And I thought this was really positive. And we do have quite a few students who do have rheumatoid arthritis and who bring it to our attention when they come in for class. And so the article states, I'm going to paraphrase a bit here, but move through. Yoga helps manage rheumatoid arthritis, says study, and here are 5 asanas to ease the pain. And this is written by Kamini Bobde, and she is in India. And I reached out to her actually this morning after I read this article. Hopefully, I'll hear back from her. More than a decade ago, when I had just started teaching yoga in Mumbai in India, a lecturer suffering from rheumatoid arthritis, an autoimmune disorder wherein the body starts to attack its own tissues, asked me if yoga could help. She was unable to lift her arms. Her fingers had just begun to deform, and she had constant pain in her legs. She was on medicines too, but once she started, her inflammation and pain reduced. And today, her arthritis is in check. Now, a new study by AIIMS and Emory University researchers confirms that it does help. The study published in Scientific Reports claims positive impact of yoga on rheumatoid arthritis. Specifically, it helped maintain cell homeostasis, greatly lowered disease activity, and stabilized inflammation. Related biomarkers. What is more, they found that 8 weeks of mild yoga practice with relaxation and meditation goes beyond symptomatic relief and looks into how it impacts the immune system, particularly the cell balance, which is known to be disrupted in this condition. And here are some simple asanas. So she made a really nice YouTube video, which I did check out. And again, the link will be in the description below. You'll be able to see here, though, on her channel, which is Yoga for Rheumatoid Arthritis, A Journey to Well-Being is the name of the video. And she offers a couple of various yoga postures that can help, and which, if you are interested, you can come and check out this article. So I am curious, is rheumatoid arthritis something that you are dealing with? Have you had any experience any benefits due to practicing yoga and being able to manage your arthritis? I personally do have some arthritis in my back, and on some days is good and some days is rough. So I'd love to hear what you're going through. I find that if I modify my yoga practice, that I can do it in a way, I can move in a way that it does actually help reduce the intensity of the inflammation due to the arthritic process. So I'm sure there's a few more of you out there. I'm sure you're either you yourself or you know somebody who is dealing with arthritis. Let me know what you think. All right. And the third story I'd like to cover is something that happened in LA. This one is working class Echo Park residents join forces to battle parking nightmare due to yoga studio. And this one is in the Los Angeles Times. Let me go ahead and pull this article up for us so I can read along, or you can check it out as I go. All right. And again, the links for these articles will be in the notes, so you can check it out. So the working class Echo Park residents join forces to battle parking nightmare due to yoga studio. This one caught my attention because parking is an issue with yoga studios. This picture is showing a resident who's maybe complaining about what's going on. There's a yoga studio called Moto Yoga in Los Angeles. And this here is written by Karen Garcia on September 26th. Blanca Rendon, 71, stands outside her Echo Park home of 40 years on Aaron Street and points to the top of the road's steep, dead end. That's where the problems will start, she says in Spanish. By mid-morning, clients of a nearby yoga studio, Moto Yoga, will fill the business's parking lot and begin the frantic search for parking spaces on her narrow street. And they don't care. All they care about is that they're late to their yoga class, she said. It's a daily headache in the working class neighborhood that results in cars cramming the tree-lined residential road, taking parking spots from locals, blocking driveways, and hitting the cars of neighboring residents. The parking dilemma has been a problem since 2017 when the studio opened its doors. The yoga studio is on a busy Glendale Boulevard, but the entrance to the studio's parking lot is on Aaron Street. And so lots of cars come in the street looking for parking. And then, quote, we're left to also wait. for open spots or park on other street and walk, Rendon says. But she can't park up on the hill, she said, because she and her husband have had knee and hip replacements. If someone wants to leave an emergency, they cannot at all, she said. The problem has been subject to 3 neighborhood meetings, with residents agreeing to push Los Angeles city officials to impose parking permit requirements to keep the yoga clients from inundating the streets around the studio. The Canada-based yoga franchise has 2 yoga rooms at the location that host classes for 33 to 40 students at a time, and the parking lot can fit 34 cars. Both rooms are typically not in use at the time, but sometimes classes overlap. So, I mean, that's an interesting quandary, because realistically, to have 2 rooms, each room can hold between 30 to 40 people. And if there's only enough parking for 30, I can see where this problem comes. I'm curious, have you ever had a parking nightmare situation when you're showing up for a yoga class? One of the things as yoga studio owners, when we're seeking a space for our studio, parking is a serious issue. We need to find a place where parking is easy, also safe, and the students feel safe getting from their car to the studio and back to their car. Often this requires finding a plaza and or a place where parking is plentiful, which is often very expensive. If we find a studio location where it's in a city and street parking is necessary, that poses a really big challenge, because if you're attempting to show up for yoga class and you can't find parking. I've had this happen when I was visiting down in Miami. It's a little bit stressful, especially if you find somewhere that's metered parking and you can only park for, say, 1 hour, and the class is supposed to be maybe a workshop for like 3 hours. It leaves you in a situation of like, what am I going to do? Am I going to have to run to go back to the meter and put some money in? I mean, nowadays with phones and the way technology is with the apps, we're able to do it from our phones. But I thought this was kind of interesting. It's something that is an issue within yoga studios. I'll continue reading. Mr. Brunn, executive director of Moto Yoga LA, told the Times he's aware of the parking problems and has been communicating with his clients and staff about it since over last year. How do you convince someone to actually become a normal human being and respect a neighborhood, and also park your car 5 minutes away from the studio and walk for 5 minutes, right? You know, it's funny, I actually had that happen here when parking was really tight here at our studio. There was another local business that he would complain. He's like, look, people are coming to practice at your studio. Can you please tell them to park up the hill? I mean, they shouldn't really worry about having to have to walk an extra 5 minutes to get to class. So just get a little exercise. And I guess I'll agree with that. If there is the opportunity to walk for 5 or 10 minutes to actually get to class, we'll get a little exercise before and after. That seems like a reasonable thing to do. This gentleman, Aaron Street, is home to a mix of retired and working class families, a majority of whom are Spanish speakers, who have banded together to raise their concerns. The issue had gotten so bad that Jose Luis Sanchez, 636, said that he comes home from his construction job in the evening. He's had to sit in his car and wait for a parking spot to open up. Yep, super annoying, right? You want to get home. People are blocking you from their yoga class. Definitely a challenging issue from a business owner's perspective. I don't envy this situation at all. Sometimes I have to wait for an hour for something to become available, Sanchez said. And the residents believe the solution to their problem is to impose a permit parking system on the street, banning parking for those without a permit from 8 to 6 p.m. Classic city challenges. And after 3 community meetings, the group appointed a neighbor, Joe Lester, 41, to communicate with the staff of council member Hugo Soto Martinez, whose district represents the neighborhood, to begin the process, but it's been slow to start. So in conclusion, so I moved down a little lower. Let's see how they wrap this up. Coming to the end. They said, sorry, we cannot go into the classroom and interrupt the session, she said. I guess that's in relation to if someone parked their car, like the studio wouldn't allow people to come in and interrupt the session, which involved, someone said they would call the police, they'll impound the car. The person did move their car and, quote, I don't want to be disrespectful and I don't want to be rude, but this is something that we just cannot deal with anymore, Trujillo said. The challenges of running and owning a yoga studio. There's many. If you are thinking of opening a yoga studio, my suggestion is definitely plan for the amount of mats that you can fit into the space, and then count how many cars that actually be that will show up. And is there enough space for you? If you have a room that can hold 50 people, but you only have parking for 10, that's not going to work. You got to plan all these things out. All right. So, in the fourth story that I want to cover, the last one here is this one caught my attention. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. I'm not really sure what to think of this one. This one, Mr. Elon Musk, the title of this one, Elon Musk's humanoid robot captured doing yoga. Yes, we're at that phase, everybody, where we now have robots that have the ability to uh, make movements that are so human-like. Whoops, I maybe went to the wrong direction, so I'm not going to try to play the video here. But yeah, there's a robot that basically can do yoga. Now, the reason that this caught my attention is that there's this idea that AI can potentially take our jobs, right? And AI is getting so powerful, and robotics is becoming so powerful that a lot of us wonder, like, will we still have a profession? Those of us that are in the service industry, I tend to think there's no way that a robot can take over my job. Like, as a human coming in teaching class, I just can't imagine that this is going to be possible. But when I saw this, this is what made me start to think again. Now, I'd love to know what you think. I mean, do you think you would even contemplate the idea of taking a class where a robot was teaching? I hope the answer is no, but let's see what happens here. Let me read a little bit from this article, which is from High Tech Magazine, which is Make Life Simple. I'll have the link in the description below. In a piece of impressive news, billionaire Elon Musk's humanoid robot Optimus, which was announced by Tesla in August of 21, has been learning skills that will shock and awe you. Optimus was captured in a video doing multiple variations and postures of yoga, which is making the internet go wild. Elon Musk's creations have often stunned the public, and now the humanoid robot has become the latest gadget to stun the internet. Know what the humanoid robot Optimus can do. And so there's some videos you can check out. Definitely go ahead and have a look. I, again, really want to know what you have to think. If you get a chance to contemplate this idea, send a message my way. Remember, you can always reach out to us here at Native Yoga Center by sending me an email, info@nativeyogacenter.com. Also, just leave a comment in the area below. If you are having a hard time finding parking when you go to yoga, we do have a platform, Native Yoga Online, which we record all of our classes every day, and we upload them onto nativeyogaonline.com. The link for that is in the description below as well. And that way, you can avoid the whole driving element if that's a problem for you. Also, I don't think robots are going to take over. I mean, if you are in the world of a job that, where AI is starting to do the things that you do well, I believe what we have to offer as humans is compassion. And I think that that's something that a robot is not going to be able to compete with. But also, I hope you enjoyed the article about rheumatoid arthritis. If you have any experience with that, I'd love to know what's happening for you. And oh yeah, that whole police report with mass murder potential from Shavasana, the final resting pose. Yeah, what do you think? All right, share with me your thoughts. That's it for today's episode, and I'll look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Again, grow your yoga. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. We appreciate it. Drop a comment below. And until next week, I look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste.